In this video, I'm going to show you a technique that I use to create these dark visuals in After Effects.
Dreadlabs.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Tom from Dreadlabs and I'm a visual artist and graphic designer. And a few months ago, I was working in my backyard when this spider started to come chill with me. And I filmed him on my phone and I turned that into a visual that's pretty dark in After Effects that I can use for DJ sets. Before we start off, if you want to download the After Effects file rather than follow this tutorial, there's a link for that in the description down below. Now, without any further ado, let's dive straight into the video. Alright, so we're here in After Effects and all that we have is this little video of the spider. So I'm going to show you a little preview of the spider. I'm going to turn my preview settings to half so it loads a little bit faster. And as you can see, it just went down on a little thread and I was actually having a little bit of trouble to keep him in focus because he was like swinging around a little bit. But in the end, I figured I think I might be able to do something cool with this. So the first thing that I wanted to do is make it a little bit more shifty and creepy. As you can see, he starts to like go back up after like 30 seconds. And the thing that kind of could make it shifty and creepy was this spider basically is almost everywhere in the frame at one point. It doesn't like just keep being in the center. So I kind of want to do something with that. So the first thing that I wanted to do is randomize each frame that the video is playing rather than just playing it frame by frame in the normal. So the way we can do that is go to right click on the spider in the layer menu, go to time, enable time remapping, and as you can see, the composition takes about 50 seconds. So what we want to do is an expression to play a random frame between the 0 and 50 second mark. If you hold Alt Option and click on the stopwatch right here, and we're going to type out random and parentheses 0, 50. And this will make it so that a random frame is playing every single time in between the 0 and 50 second mark. And as you can see, this is going to look really shifty and creepy, maybe a little bit too hectic as well. So what we want to do is lower the frame rate of this. So I'm going to make a new adjustment layer by going to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and we'll call this Effects. And under the Effects and Presets window, we are going to look for Posterize Time. And this is an effect that will lower the frame rate of everything below it. I will just change the frame rate to 6 frames per second. And this will make it a lot more easy on the eyes, as you can see, because now it looks a little bit more like a slideshow, if that makes sense. As with many of my tutorials, especially these After Effects ones that focus a little bit more on like experimenting, feel free to experiment with any of the settings that I just showcase here in the video. I'm just going to go over the stuff that I found when I initially made this. So the next thing that I want to do is make sure that we have multiple spiders in the frame every single time. And we can do that with an echo effect. So this echo will basically just make duplicates every single time after a few seconds. And again, feel free to experiment with these settings. I just turned my echo operator to minimum and then the number of echoes to 8, and on the intensity and decay I just left at 1. And I kind of see what happens now, but as you can see, there's like multiple frames in here, and what I ended up with was a point of -5.6333. Super random, but I think it was just playing around with the slider or something. Well, what this basically means is that there's a longer delay until the first echo starts appearing, as you can see. Just one thing to note, if you start experimenting with these, the echo time, if you keep it in a positive, it will play frames up front, and if you keep it in a negative, it will just start playing the echoes after you initially started playing your composition. And another thing that we need to take into account here is that since we only start the echoes after 5 seconds, that means that until the 5 second mark, there aren't any echoes in here, as you can see. It only starts popping in from right around now. And after the 10 second mark, a third spider comes in, and after the 20s and so forth and so forth. I'm basically comfortable with me just playing around like the 10 second mark. So I'm going to just press the letter B on my keyboard here. And this is then when the composition actually starts when we render it. So this part will be left out. Anyways, we got a nice little composition of spiders dancing around here. So now I want to kind of make this a little bit darker and do some stuff with the coloring. And the first thing that I want to do is just go and invert this whole composition. And we can just search for an invert on the Effects and Presets tab, and just this will already do a lot here, as you can see. The next thing is add some contrast in here, and I do that with the curves adjustment. So we're just gonna drag this one on here as well, and we're gonna make a adjustment like this, and what this basically does is this makes the darker points a little bit darker and the lighter points a little bit lighter. And I feel like it's a little bit too saturated right now, so what I want to do is add in a hue and saturation effect. I'm going to drop that in there as well and turn the master saturation to around minus maybe 70 to make the blue more of like a grayish color. And this will also create that like almost X-ray like effect, as you can see. So to make it extra jittery and grainy, what we're going to do is add in a texture and basically move that around a little bit. What I'm going to do is just press Command or Control I on my keyboard, and what I'm going to drop in here is a texture pack from Aran Preston. You can find this on my website, but essentially any grain adjustment layer or any grain effect or any texture that you can find on the internet for that matter will do the same thing. But if you would like to support me and my channel, keep up the weekly tutorials, you actually help me out a lot if you buy an asset on my web store. So we're going to go open the film grain texture pack. I'm going to go to project files, which is the folder here, and we're going to click on the harsh grain number 5 and we'll drop that in here. And as you can see, is really covering a lot here. It's actually a really large texture. If we zoom out, I'm going to change the blend mode to overlay first so we can see what's going on. If you cannot see this here, all you need to do is right click on this top bar, go to columns, modes, and then you should be able to switch over your blend mode to overlay. And the next thing that we want to do is go to wiggle and drop a wiggle position on this harsh grain. And we're going to change that to 30. And the wiggle amount in pixels, we're going to change that to maybe 500 or something. And let's see what that does. So you can see that there's a lot of grain movement now, and I actually want to have this matched with the posterized frame rate. So we're going to do another posterized time. I can type it correctly, of course. And then we'll just turn this to 6 frames per second as well. And now we almost get this sequence of scanned in X-ray pictures of a spider or something like that. It's these kinds of visuals that really make it for me and do it for me, you know, like these weird surrealistic, dark, quite experimental visuals, I guess. But yeah, this is basically a really basic form of how I turn a random video of a spider chilling with me to some visuals that I can actually use for my DJ sets. So like I said, if you want to get the After Effects project file, you can find it on my Patreon page. The link for that will be down in the description. And on my Patreon page, you can also get access to all of the other project files from all of my tutorials. I think at this point I have almost nearly 300 tutorials, all on this same style of graphic design or animation. And if you want to support me even further, like I said, consider getting something on my web store, because that will actually help me out a lot and give you more free tutorials on a weekly basis. If you don't have the budget for that, leaving a like and a comment on this video already does a lot. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss a future tutorial. With all of that being said, this is Tom from Dreadlabs tuning out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Dreadlabs.